Green Arrow number 3, written by J.T. Kroll, art by Dan Jurgens, co-plotted by both of them, and believe it or not, I think this is the last issue of the arc. Already. I didn't expect to get to one of these so soon, but hey, where we last left off, Green Arrow was fighting against Rush and the gang, and they were just being live streamed to the whole world. And this issue just picks up with that, with Rush being like, hey, everyone out there in streaming land, watch Green Arrow die. And Green Arrow's, he's fighting down the whole gang. It seems like impossible odds, but of course he jumps into it and gets into the fight. And they make sure to make a point of how everyone watching is rooting for Rush and is against Green Arrow and wants blood and violence and death and... Okay, anyway, it's just basically one extended fight scene for most of it. Bits happen. There are beats. He loses his quiver in one of the people's attacks, catches on fire, and he's like, okay, well, you know where I am. Can you shut off the lights? And I'll shut off theirs. And he fires off like a sonic arrow as the lights are being worked on to be taken out. He's just coming up with a plan as he go. He attacks a couple of them. The one dude back at base, Jax, I think. I'm trying to remember their names, but they are so unimportant. Jax says, hey, beneath your feet there's a small cellar. If you drop them down into it, you can use the inflatable arrows that we introduced last issue to take them out of the game. And he does that, and it works, and they banter for a bit. We cut back really quickly to the office where Emerson is sad or distressed that Ollie isn't answering any of his calls, and then I guess he ruminates over the fact that he's not living up to his full potential over a photo of possibly Oliver and his father or Emerson and his father. I don't know. I have no clue what's happening in this scene. And we cut back to the fight. Once again, they're still fighting. They get some heat signatures to fight him in the dark, and then they're like, all right, well, we're taking this outside so we can get some natural light. And so they go outside. Dude with telekinesis is the one who's controlling all the cameras. He's having them all float around cinematically or whatever. And Green Arrow's like, okay, well, if I take him out, there's no more show, so let's aim for that. And he shoots an arrow at the dude with telekinesis. He just deflects it because he's like, dude, I have telekinesis. Seriously? You think that would work? And he's like, oh, well, you just deflected it towards that tank of compressed gas. I do like how he says it. He says, no, wait, you're sending it right into the tank. It's purposely deadpan. It explodes, take out the telekinesis guy. Rush picks up a camera, throws it at Green Arrow, literally says, dude, I knew this was going to be epic. So, they get into a fight, and then finally Green Arrow, he pulls out 2 arrows at once. While he starts monologuing, he's like, this is what you wanted. He's monologuing to the literal audience, the literal live stream audience, where he's saying, this is what you wanted, isn't it? What you clicked over for? Some entertainment, a guilty pleasure? Anybody who's watching this video right now, in your home, at work, wherever you are, you're to blame. You're guilty. So anyway, he fires off some arrows, one of which is a sedative. He lands it in Rush's neck, and then he crushes the camera, saying, don't give people that kind of power. They don't deserve it. Show's over. And then I guess Rush and the gang all go to jail. Meanwhile, it's a few days later. There are still people saying man, Green Arrow, he sucks. We will wait for #we'll wait for Rush. And I'm like, anyway, there's that Q show that I guess Emerson's been trying to get him to talk at for this entire time. Ollie is there, and he makes, again, a whole monologue about, we need to add to the human experience. Our technology isn't... I'm not here to sell you the latest app. I'm not here to sell you the coolest gadget. At the end of the day, it's about what we do with the technology that defines us. We have to be better. We have to do more, be more. And Emerson's like, okay, next time, could you maybe, I don't know, not say that our entire technology line is useless? And he's like, that's not what I was going for. He's like, well, it sounds like it was. You suck, Ollie. I hate you. And this one girl who has been around, Adrian, I think she was in issue 1 maybe, she steps up to defend Ollie. But Emerson's not having it. He's like, he is capable of so much and he's not living up to it, and that's what pisses me off because he's lazy and he's not taking this seriously. He's just a bum. And then we see him gearing up his Green Arrow, and it's showing that, oh, if only Emerson knew. And then we get one quick little epilogue thing where somebody's watching his monologue at Q-Core, and they shoot out the TV and says, like, oh, well, that's the thing about a past, Mr. Queen. It tends to catch up to you. And it's this young woman with guns, and then this dude who's huge and seems to be shot and bleeding and burned, but he's just okay with it. And he's like, we're going to take out Oliver Queen and make his life so much worse. Mwahaha. As this bar that they're sitting in is filled with burned husks of corpses. And that's the end of the arc, as far as I can tell. I didn't like it, if that wasn't clear. Oh, boy. Okay, so I didn't mind the art so much in this last one, because they actually started, being decent. But good Lord. I get, it's not a bad moral. Like, don't give bad people a platform. I'm okay with that moral. It's not like it's offensive to me as a moral, but it's just how ham-fisted it is. He's literally monologuing. Like, not in narration boxes to us as the audience, like, oh, well, these are his personal thoughts that we're just privy to. No, he is actively speaking to the audience and saying, hey, you're to blame for all the bad people. Oh, boy. I'm giving this one a 3.5, this particular issue. Just because, like, especially because it happened so quickly, it feels like nothing mattered out of all of it. Like, you just monologued and then shot him with an arrow. Is this just going to be it? Is this just how you're not setting me up with confidence for anything moving forward in this run? That it's just not going to be fling, and that's why we always pick up our litter. No. 3.5. Do better. Be more.